everybody. Arla Nicole. So glad you guys are here. Happy Sunday to everybody. It is absolutely gorgeous, but I have a funny feeling it's going to get really hot today. Really hot. But anyway, today we're going to talk about forgiveness. Hey James, we're going to talk about forgiveness today. You do know that this is the forgiveness series. You know, forgiveness is not the easiest thing to do, but it is essential in this lifetime to do it. Whether we necessarily are masters of forgiveness. Good morning, Kara. We may not be masters of forgiveness, but it is essential that we learn how important forgiveness is for restoration and beautiful, joyous, and fulfillment of life. So, you know, it's very important that we do take heed to how important it is to be mindful of forgiving others and forgiving of self. So today, I want to talk about something that is powerful. But first of all, you know me, you know I'm always going to tell you who I am. If you have never been to my show before, I'm Carla Nicole. I'm a single mother of 2 children, and my spiritual mission is to help people to practice forgiveness. Practicing forgiveness is not hard. It's just you have to be very strategic when you think about how do I forgive. And not only do I forgive, but how do I forgive it and then let it go? See, we talk about forgiveness and forgetting, right? Now, you do know that I write a lot, and I've written recently about how we hear various sayings saying, forgive and let go. Forgive and forget, we say often, okay? So, I want to talk about that for just a minute. What about the times when you hear people say, oh, I just want to forgive and forget? Forgive and forget. Well, I want you guys to think about something really fast. You know, when we talk about forgetting something, we are placing energy in removing that particular disheartening situation, disappointment, hurt. So we are wanting to forget it? Are you sure about forgetting? You don't want to forget. See, this is why I'm always big about bringing forth some wisdom about things that we say, because we have to be mindful of what words we use when we're talking, because when we're talking, we are also applying that to action. And whether we know it or not, we'll say something like, I'm just going to forgive and forget. I'm just going to forgive and forget. Well, that's not really to your advantage. Actually, when you forgive something, you actually want to be able to revert back to that, whatever that is, whatever that circumstance was, whatever that situation was, whatever that hurtful event that happened was. You want to be able to have that memory, don't you? Because when you have the memory of something that went awry or something that went into you went into a despair, or you went into a saddened situation, you want to be able to have the knowledge and the wisdom from the experience. Because when you have the wisdom from the experience, guess what that does for you? That actually helps you to now learn and apply what it is you had went through. So, the reason why I wanted to bring up about forgetting is because a lot of times we'll say we will forgive and forget, but that's really not true. Let's just think about something amongst us, and I'll tell you that for me, I have had people that I have forgiven over the years, but I did not forget what happened. So, for instance, when something hurts, something disappointed. Something was, I mean, absolutely unbelievable. You know, when you have that experience, you're not going to forget it anyway. Even though you say, I'm just going to forget it, I'm just going to forget it. But you're not, because you remember. I can remember when I was going through a divorce, and I can remember the last teardrop on my daughter's onesie. Till this day, when I knew that that was my last tear over my marriage, I remember that till this day. Did I forgive that? Yes, but I still remember it. And I remember it because now I'm able to reflect back on it and say, hey guys, listen, you might go through some pain. You might remember that teardrop, but remember what you came from after you went through that pain. See, a lot of times we have a misconception that life will have no pain, that the people we love will never hurt us, that we will never get disappointed. But that is just not true. We are going to have storms, we are going to have pain, we are going to have, you know, people disregard us, we're going to have people disappoint us, we're going to have people disrespect us. There's all kinds of stuff in life that happen. But that does not mean you can't have a joyous life anyway. See, the thing about it is, when you forgive something, it takes away from the pain of focusing in on, oh my God, it hurt me so bad, and I did something and I'm so shameful of it and I'm so embarrassed, or I cannot believe that that person did that to me. Step away from your disbelief. I know you've never heard that before, but step away from your disbelief. I'm talking about step away from your disbelief of the things that you've done, and step away from the disbelief of what someone did to you, or step away from the disbelief of somebody else doing something to someone else. You know why I tell you to step away from the disbelief? Because guess what? We're human. All of us. No one is exempt. No one is exempt from making mistakes. No one, including me, including you, including everyone on the planet. We're all going to make mistakes. I don't care who you are, or what age you are, or how much money you make, or what degrees you have. All that doesn't matter. We're all going to make mistakes. It just is what it is. Why do you think there's health insurance? I'm sorry, auto insurance. Because people make mistakes and run red lights. People make mistakes and hit and ram into somebody. It just is what it is. We all make mistakes. Now, when I tell you to forgive and let go, you want to apply what letting go means. Okay, so now this is where I would strongly suggest you get your notebooks and pads and pens, because here it goes. I'm about to give you something that you're going to really need to take heed to. How do we let go? Y'all ready? Let me take a sip. The letting go isn't about forgetting it. The letting go is disregarding and taking away the disbelief. First of all, we have to start looking at reality for what it is. And no matter who you are, like I said earlier, or what you do, there are going to be people that is going to feel that you made a mistake to them. Whether you did intentionally or you didn't, they're still going to feel some type of way about the fact that you did something that maybe they were indirectly harmed by it, and you didn't do anything intentionally. It just happened, right? So what I want you to think about is, how do we remove a disbelief from the memory, from the frontal lobe of our brain? How do we remove that? And I want you guys to do something that I think is very important. Number one, prayer. Now listen, you may not want to believe it or not. That's your choice or whatever. You may not have a belief. You may be atheist or whatever. You may just be like, I don't pray, I don't do this, I don't do that. That's fine. But understand, there is an insurance policy with prayer and meditation and dedication to doing so. Let me tell you something. I had a personal experience where I felt so frustrated by something that happened to me. And I just was so full of unforgiveness. I was so angry. I was so bitter. I was so just repulsed by someone that did something to me that I thought should not have happened. And when I tell you about unforgiveness, I want you guys to get this, because I'm not talking about this from some surface example or from what I've seen. I went through it myself personally. So, I was at the edge of my bed one time, and I was so full of unforgiveness, and I knew that if I didn't stop with my unforgiveness, I was going to die from it. I'm going to let that sit on y'all's heart and minds for a minute. Because yes, unforgiveness can kill us. It can take us off the planet. Because it's a boiling hatred. And it doesn't have to be towards someone else all the time. The unforgiveness could be towards yourself. So, anyway, I was at wit's end. I was infuriated. I was just like, I don't know. I just don't know what to do at this point. I'm really fed up from the floor up with it. And what I found out was, okay, you know what? Let me see. What other option do I have? What, am I going to go to a counselor? What am I going to talk to some friends about my own personal unforgiveness? First of all, I had a shame of it, because that's just nonsense. I'm better than this. I should be able to forgive anything that happens to me. So why am I not forgiving this? What am I attached to? And so I ended up praying and surrendering in my prayer. God, take this away from me. I can't do this no more. I just can't do this no more. I cannot continue to live in this unforgiveness. I cannot continue to bear my heart, mind, and soul in frustration over the very thought of that person. Just complete and total and utter disgust. I just cannot be that person anymore. So, God, what do? I need you to help me. And almost instantaneously, I tell you, I said that prayer very, very early in the morning, and by the afternoon, I let it go. And I placed it in the hands of, God. I placed it in the hands of my faith. And what people don't understand about faith is it's often not spoken of. It's often not, put all over the media. It's often not actually instilled to believe in faith. But I have no other choice but to express to you how important it is to be faithful in doing just that. See, we often believe that this life is our own, that we own everything, that we're in charge of our life. We weren't in charge to get here. We just arrived. You feel what I'm saying? Our parents got busy and we arrived. It was none of our doing other than getting here. And so what makes us think that in this lifetime, that it's all about us. It's all about our doing. It's all about what we have to do, what we must do. Not the case. Sometimes we got to take it out of our own hands and place it in the hands of our faith. And if you don't have a faith, you better get some. Because my life I wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't even be in existence without it. And I know that's probably not the answer you thought I was going to give you. I know you probably thought, oh, so there's really some easy steps to take. Well, yes, easy once you let it go. And you place it in the hands of your God, of your understanding, or the universe, or whatever you believe in, and you let it be. Because you can't change your past. You can't change what someone's done to you. You can't change how you feel about it until you let it go. And one of the things I learned over the course of the years is harboring in anger or being so fulfilled with how frustrated we are based upon what someone did. It is exhausting. Do you realize that it takes a lot of energy? It takes a lot of energy to be angry. It takes a lot of energy to be frustrated. It takes a lot of energy to pretty much focus on what someone did or what someone didn't do. We got to get better with this. But when we sit back and we really look at, okay, if I'm angry, if I'm upset, if I'm hurt, okay. But, you know, it's hard enough to try to forgive someone else. But just imagine how hard it is to forgive yourself of something that you did, that you just have a picture in your mind of what you believe that you should represent. So think about that for a minute. We have a picture in our mind of what we represent to other people. We have a picture in our mind what we represent to ourselves and others. So when we don't meet up to the expectations of what our picture is, we find ourselves very, very frustrated by the fact we didn't add up, or we didn't do or succeed with the image in the mind that we think we should have been. But do you know, I want you guys to get this, do you know that there's no such thing as mistakes? Mistakes are lessons. See, when we say to ourselves, we made a big mistake, or I shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have done that, or we harbor in that, what we need to really focus on is what lesson did we learn from the indecision or the poor choice we made. All we have to do is start sitting down and really focusing on the fact we are not perfect. We need to get away from having a perfect image in our head of what we are to other people and what we are to ourselves. First of all, we were a child first, then we became parents, then we became grandparents, and then we're siblings, and we're aunts and all. You know, we have a lot of different roles in life. And in each role, we may believe that we are succeeding or we are successful in that role. And we can be proud of that. But sometimes we're better in those roles to everyone else and are not to our expectations of what we should be to ourselves. And so what do? We begin to self-destruct. We begin to say poor things to ourselves. We end up doing, and you guys know I talk a lot about internal dialogue, what we say in here and in our minds and in our soul. We end up getting frustrated and we say some mean, evil, vicious things to ourselves about who we are and what we represented and how dare we do this and why did we do that. We are human. We need to start sitting back and understanding that even though we have made mistakes, and we will, let's get past the fact that even in the mistakes that we are a good person. See, we are of mind, body, and spirit. What does that mean? That means that in mind, body, and spirit, we have so much life in us. And not only are we full of life, but we're also full of goodness. We are also full of goodness. And in our goodness, we have a tendency to believe that we will never make mistakes. We will never be, have bad thoughts. We'll never, do something that we shouldn't have. And that's just not true. We're going to have our moments, trust me. All of us, including me included. Me and my dad always have a funny joke. He always says, none of us are getting out of here alive. He's like, you need to loosen up and get, have a little sense of humor. You take life too serious. And, sometimes he's right. He's like, loosen up. You're not getting out of here alive either. So we kind of chuckle about it. But it's true. We've got to stop thinking that no matter what, we have to be perfect. We don't. We cannot have everything perfect, and we can still be a good person. We can make a bad choice and still be a good person. We can be of a bad situation and make a bad call and still be a good person. Just remember that even in some of our worst choices we've made, and trust me, I've made quite a few in my lifetime, I don't have regrets. Because even in my bad decisions or indecisions, I learned something from them. And when you learn something from your poor choices or poor decisions, guess what that does for you? You end up having wisdom. You end up gaining an opportunity to having wisdom. And do you know what wisdom is? Wisdom is the riches of the world. Wisdom is the richness of the world. Do you hear me? When you have wisdom, there's a lot more to your character. There's a lot more to your faithfulness. And you know what? People come to you because they see you as somebody that is pertinent. Somebody that can gift them with a knowledge that maybe they don't have. But it takes going through some pain. It takes going through some hurts. It takes going through some unforgiveness to get to forgiveness. See, what we don't understand is a lot of times we don't really think about it, but we got to get from the indecisions. How do we repair? How do we figure out, okay, I have been upset. I have been saddened. I have been hurt. I have been cheated on. I have been lied to. I have had somebody stand here and just lie blatantly to my face. I have had somebody jealous of me. I have had it all. You know what I'm saying? And I have been those people. I have been vicious. I have been mean. I have been jealous. I have been hurtful to people. And I found out, you know what? Even though I've had those situations and I have learned to refine myself, it is a lot of work to learn how to refine yourself. Learn how to figure out, wait a minute, I could be better than this. And in my striving to be better, what can I do to improve? Well, all I got to do is maybe I need to start paying attention to what I'm doing. What are my actions? Sit down and learn something from somebody else. One of my greatest things that I talk about all the time, even though I'm a wisdom coach, I got somebody coaching me. I'm not worth a quarter if I don't have somebody coaching me. I'm not worth a quarter. I'm not. Because I have my own stuff. So if I don't have somebody helping me, how am I supposed to help someone else? So I don't stand, oh, I'm better than everybody. Because, I'm coaching other people. No, that's not the case. I have to be mindful that in order for me to bear witness, I got to go through some pain. And sometimes the pain can be excruciating. Sometimes the pain can be utterly just unbelievable. But the thing is, if you have any type of faith whatsoever, you do realize that God doesn't give you more than you can handle. Now, bear in mind that some of the people that show as the strongest have their weakest times, and they need someone too. So just because you have someone in your family that represents that strength or represents that toughness or represents that one that'll go to bat for you, check on them every now and then. Because sometimes the ones that seem the strongest are the most hurt because they're bearing a lot of weight. They're covering a lot of spirits. They're making sure that people really, really, really have it hard. But, you will find that as we go along through this life, that it doesn't take a lot to advance, to restore yourself. You just have to understand that sometimes it is not the easiest thing to do. We have to get past trying to always, not really realize that some people are hurting. And even though they may appear to look like they are tough and strong, check on them. I know a lot of strong-willed people, strong-willed gentlemen that, their shoulders are broad, they're big in stature, but they'll take the brunt of whatever comes in their family. Everybody turns to them. Everybody leans on them. And nobody ever really checks on them because they like, oh, I'll just go to him or, for my problems or my hurts and my pains. But nobody really stops to say, well, wait a minute, he's carrying a lot of weight. Maybe I need to go over here and check on him, see if he's okay. Because like I said, coaches have to get coached too. The strong ones get weak too. We have to make sure that we're being mindful that not all the time are people always as strong as they appear. I'm hoping I'm helping somebody. A lot of times we don't realize that restoring is very important. But it is very, very difficult when we get to a different kind of place in life where we have to really sit back and realize that, hey, tough stuff happens, and even with it happening, we will restore. We will continue to be what we are in this life. But like I said, we can forgive everybody, but we definitely need to forgive ourselves, because if we do, we'll have a stronger, more joyous life when we say, hey, I will be more fulfilled because I am now not so burdened by not forgiving someone else. So I hope this helps somebody. Please make sure you share this, everybody. I hope you guys have a great, beautiful Sunday. And if you do not know, I will be having another virtual workshop coming soon in August. So make sure that you reach out to me to get the details on that. Just call 844-5-WISDOM to learn about the workshop and how to be a part of that. It is going to be powerful. I'm going to be talking about jealousy and how to resolve it, giving you the opportunity to learn how to withstand or deter away from it as much as you can while everything is cool, before someone is jealous or before you get jealous thoughts. Get with me and become a part of that workshop. It's called the Jealousy Resolution Virtual Workshop, and it'll be in August 3rd and August 5th. So let me know if you want to be a part of that. Please call me at 844-5-WISDOM for the details. Or you can join my coaching page. It's Carla Nicole Wisdom Coaching Services page. You can go on there and get the details there as well. So please make sure to share this video. And also, if you want to be a part of that jealousy resolution virtual workshop, please call or inbox me and I will give you the details. Alright, so I want you guys to enjoy your Sunday and have a blessed evening. We'll talk soon. Carla Nicole signing off. Best kept.